Usually, how can you tell if a person is still in love with you even after they have left your life? There are many ways a person does this, but the signs would definitely be there for you to see. Love is a very powerful force, and even when there have been fights and disagreements in the past, a person in love would be willing to work through all of those things to get back into your life. Usually, many people go their separate ways when the relationship has become difficult and they find no pleasure being together anymore. The euphoria and the butterflies that they experienced in the beginning are no longer there, and they just cannot feel the love anymore. So, they move on in search of butterflies, and since they were not really in love to begin with, the chances of them ever coming back to your life becomes very slim. However, when a person loves you, they will do whatever it takes to find their way back into your heart. Usually, they will find a way to work themselves back into your life, either through your friends, family, or by intercepting you at every chance they get. They will want to know how you're faring or if you're okay. It is possible that they're hurting and might try to avoid you for some times to get over the pain and move on, but then they find out that it is not easy moving on. Almost automatically, they will seek out your presence, going to places they know you are likely going to be, and then striking up conversation that takes you down memory lane. In some cases, they might come up plain and make you know that they're still very much in love with you, especially if you feel the same way and are ready to make the relationship work again. That is a sign that person will come back into your life. Conflicts usually arise between people in a relationship being the result of a lack of agreement over a particular matter, issue, or character. Sometimes we're willing to overlook some things and just go with the flow, but a partner's attitude or refusal to change might eventually lead to a breakup. If God will bring that same person back into your life, one of the very signs you notice is their willingness to change. Usually, they would have had worked on that attitude or habit that led to the discord, because they want to impress you and they're looking for a second chance in the relationship. Change in itself is not so easy to make, and most people will rather move on than admit they were wrong, or that something needs to be changed about them. In this case, you can kiss the relationship goodbye, because what led to the breakup has not been taken care of and would come up later even if you try to patch it up. On the other hand, a person realizing that they are wrong and are willing to make the necessary adjustments and changes speaks volume. It means they value what you had together and are ready to do the right thing to make it work again. So, you may find that your ex is suddenly doing all he or she can to win your favor. If they were not the type to give you attention before, they might go out of their way to show you that things have changed. You might meet at an event and be surprised to find them performing all kinds of stunts to impress you, doing things that they never did before. However, you have to be sure that the change is real and not just a performance to get back into your life. If a person changes or is willing to change, it is a sign that God will bring them back into your life. Some breakups happened with mutual consent, and the relationship ended amicably. It could be as a result of one or more differences which both partners agreed would hinder the progress or growth of the relationship. Or it could be as a result of an external factor that both partners had no power or are unable to reach a compromise about, and so had to go their separate ways. With these kinds of breakups, where harsh words have not been spoken and great damage has not been done, as to sever the relationship totally, there is every likelihood that the person will return to your life, especially if the circumstances that led to the separation has changed. For instance, distance could have been a big barrier in the relationship, and being unable to reach a compromise on that previously, you decide to split up and go your separate ways. However, anything can happen. Maybe a transfer at the place of your work, or your family decides to move across town, and you find yourself in close proximity with that person, there is every possibility of rekindling old feelings and picking up where you had left the relationship since it ended on good terms. However, in a situation where hateful words have been said and the people involved try to hurt each other in any way they can imagine, that is like shutting the door on any form of reconciliation. And with the way things ended, it would be most impossible to get the relationship running again, especially with all the hurt that have been done to each other. If things ended the other way around, there is still a possibility that person may come back into your life. They are willing to ask for forgiveness. Offenses cannot be totally avoided in any kind of relationship, but it takes two people that are ready to overlook and forgive easily to make things work. However, we are sometimes hurt beyond the limits we think we can take, and things can crash from there. It could be intentional or unintentionally, but the point here is that someone was at fault and was not willing to accept that. And it could happen in any form of relationship. Take the prodigal son and his father, for example. Things have been going smooth until the young son decided that he wanted to branch out on his own. That decision hurt his father, but nevertheless, he let him go. When things were not going well for him anymore, he had the good sense to go back to his father and seek his forgiveness. He knew he had done wrong and was willing to make amends even if his father would not accept him as a son. That's a sign of humility and willingness to make things work again. If that person is willing to accept their wrong, apologize, and make things right, it's a sign God will bring them back into your life. You, on the other hand, must be ready to accept them irrespective of the hurt and the pain that they have caused you, knowing that God brought you together for a purpose. Paul had to write to Philemon on behalf of Onesimus, his runaway slave, telling him of the changes Onesimus had gone through and how he was willing to come back and make right his wrong. In essence, there must be a willingness to forgive and let go of previous hurt so things can work out. Communication was never broken, or it became revived. Another sign that suggests God will bring someone back into your life is if you still keep in touch and remain friends even after separation. Or in some cases, you lose touch and then suddenly pick up where you left off. Usually, this is only possible in cases where the breakup was mutually agreed on. Otherwise, the hurt and pain may affect any future possibilities. Communication makes us feel close to an individual, and it creates bonds that grows over time. Most people cut off the communication line immediately after a separation. That means there is no way anything can work out between them anymore. The breakup is final and complete. However, in a case whereby you still check on each other from time to time and take care to know what is going on in the other person's life, it is a sign that they are coming back into your life.